The province looks to put the brakes on impaired drivers, the new tools it plans to introduce for police. A signing ceremony in Saskatoon, what the city and Muskeg Lake Cree Nation put pen to paper on. And some lucky ducks in Saskatoon saved by a city crew.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. The province is looking at new ways to penalize impaired drivers that come with immediate consequences. Hallie Mandrick has the details of the new tools that will provide police with more options.
Saskatchewan police officers may soon have the ability to implement immediate penalties for impaired drivers.
These changes will allow for the officers to use administrative penalties for .08 and make sure that the sanctions are swift, severe, but also get those officers back doing frontline policing duties much quicker.
In potential changes to the Traffic Safety Act, drivers who fail a roadside breath test will face more immediate penalties, including driver's license suspension, vehicle impoundment, requirement for ignition interlock, impaired education courses, in addition to various financial penalties.
Administrative penalties are a proven and effective way to reduce impaired driving. They empower police to process some impaired drivers through an administrative regime rather than through the criminal process. This helps improve efficiency, reduces strain on the justice system, which we know is overburdened, inefficient, and we see cases sadly all across the country being thrown out every day.
These penalties would be implemented at the discretion of the individual police officers responding to each situation. However, there are still situations where these administrative sanctions would not be an option.
If there's been a collision, if there's damage, if there's injuries, if there's a young person in the vehicle, then it's criminal code is still the way that we would proceed.
For those who have been impacted by impaired driving, this change is much more than an amendment to the law.
Every impaired driver stopped before they cause crashes represents a tragedy prevented. It means another family will not receive that devastating knock on the door from the police. It means another loved one will make it home safely.
According to the province, an average of 37 people die and 360 are injured annually due to impaired driving in Saskatchewan. After consultation with partners and stakeholders, the government plans to introduce this legislation in the fall. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The city of Saskatoon and Muskeg Lake Cree Nation have taken the next step toward a proposed downtown arena, convention center, and entertainment district. As Stacey Hine tells us, they've officially agreed to begin partnership negotiations.
Saskatoon Mayor Cynthia Block and Muskeg Lake Cree Nation Chief Kelly Wolf sign a memorandum of understanding, agreeing to begin partnership negotiations on a proposed downtown arena, convention center, and entertainment district. An MOU is a non-binding agreement that sets out shared goals and a framework for a potential future partnership. The signing comes after City Council unanimously voted last week to enter negotiations with Muskeg Lake Cree Nation. Block and Wolf say the partnership could benefit both communities and future generations.
We're looking long-term and looking at the economic development, prosperity of all our citizens, because we too have citizens here in the city, and we know that everyone will prosper for this.
Both the nation and the city of Saskatoon are trying to create wealth for our cities, prosperity for the future, attract residents, making sure we have tourism here, making sure we have good jobs here.
Wolf says there's no timeline for the negotiations. He also says the partnership could provide potential funding and federal opportunities.
There are procurement policies within the federal government that support First Nations capital ventures such like this, so we're going to do our best to ensure that we capitalize on all of those.
No funding has been committed by either the federal or provincial government at this stage, but Sask Party MLA Ken Cheveldayoff says the province is open to becoming a partner.
No commitments have been made, but it's a signal from the Premier and the Cabinet that we want to be part of this at the appropriate time.
As negotiations move forward, any decision involving finances, governance, or land will need City Council approval. City administration will also have to update Council at least every 2 months throughout the process. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Wildfire smoke is causing poor air quality in northern Saskatchewan. An alert has been issued for most of the north, including Prince Albert National Park. It also includes communities between the Alberta and Manitoba boundaries up toward the Northwest Territories. The province of Saskatchewan says the smoke is expected to remain in the area until midweek and is advising people to limit time outdoors and keep their doors and windows closed. Anyone with underlying lung and health issues should take extra precautions. As of earlier today, there are 62 active wildfires burning in the province. A wild weekend of weather across the province, from a confirmed tornado touching down near Yorkton to severe flooding in Regina. Jacob Carr has those details.
Rain ravaged the city of Regina over the weekend, causing flooded streets in some areas, like in the north end on Daglish Drive.
By that green pole over there, it's up to my waist. We had one kid try to come through, totaled his car. I helped push it out down the street, and as soon as he opened his door, you couldn't see his pedals. There was so much flood water in there.
That is exactly what not to do during a heavy rainstorm, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, who said the Queen City received over 50 millimeters of rain on Saturday alone.
If you're in a car, do not drive through floodwaters or underpasses. Avoid crossing bridges if the water is close to touching the bridge.
That was not the only weather event to affect residents in southern Saskatchewan. A confirmed tornado touched down over the weekend in Pelly, just north of Yorkton. It is the 8th confirmed tornado this year, which Environment and Climate Change say is on pace to near the average number seen over the past few years. There were 21 confirmed tornadoes in 2025 across the province and 19 in 2024.
Tornado watch did go out for the area around noon, so we did know that the area was favorable for tornadogenesis, and there was structural damage to trees, damage to like power lines. While more rain is set to hit the city of Regina this week, according to Gergley, the likelihood of another monsoon is low, and that should be welcome news to residents like Crookshank.
There's one house down there where it's getting into their windowsill, so it's getting all in the basement. Obviously, like these new fences that were put up, I think, a week ago, a lot of them are getting blown out.
But Gergley also added that being under thunderstorm watch can bring unpredictable amounts of precipitation, so Regina residents should remain diligent and check the forecast regularly. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
All the rain here in recent days and the rest of this week means the University Bridge will stay closed for at least another couple of weeks. The city says it will likely be mid to late July before the bridge reopens. At that time, a portion of College Drive will also open to one lane of traffic in each direction. The city says it's also finalizing plans for other stages of construction along College Drive and will provide updates when details are confirmed. Quite the blast of rain earlier this afternoon, Jeff.
We certainly did, and I'm afraid to say it's going to be more of the same in terms of the next 24 hours. It may not be a constant threat of rain, but it will be certainly significant and consistent, let's say. You can certainly see all this active weather moving up into Manitoba, but that low pressure center is going to be making its way into Manitoba. But on the backhand side, yes, we will definitely be feeling its impact here in Saskatchewan, and we'll take a closer look at that later on.
A 67-year-old man has died following a rollover in North Battleford. RCMP say it happened yesterday morning just after 5 o'clock on the Highway 16 bypass. The driver and only person in the vehicle died at the scene. He has been identified as being from North Battleford. RCMP are trying to determine what contributed to the crash. 2 men and a woman are facing a string of charges after a dog was shot and killed in North Battleford. RCMP say they were called Friday night at about 8 o'clock about a shooting on 8th Avenue North. A man had been walking his dog when a truck approached him. The people inside threatened him and then shot the dog. The owner was not hurt. Officers were able to track down the suspects. The men, aged 53 and 37, and a 39-year-old woman are facing a combined 18 charges. A traffic stop on Friday afternoon in Corman Park led to a significant drug and weapon seizure. Corman Park police stopped a black GMC on Highway 16 Friday afternoon near Township Road 374. The officer noticed a baby not properly secured in her car seat and offered to help. The officer found a gun and a machete in the back seat. A further search of the vehicle led to the recovery of a large quantity of cannabis and unstamped tobacco. The driver was arrested. He is scheduled to appear in provincial court on possession charges. People gathered to remember the victims of domestic violence over the weekend. A march started at Mount Royal Park and ended at Saskatoon Police Headquarters. Organizers say the walk was intended to serve as both a memorial and a protest to remember those who have died because of domestic violence, but also to advocate for change.
It breaks my heart for these families, and us coming together, it only creates our message to be stronger. And we won't stop. And this is our message out there. These women out here, they're going to be heard. They're going to be heard from now on and from today and forever.
Nate Tauhau represented one of 6 families at the walk who have lost a loved one due to domestic violence. Saskatoon police are warning about a text scam making its rounds. The service says people are receiving text messages from people claiming to be a police officer saying the receiver has a provincial court traffic violation. It states the person must appear in court and asks people to click a link and pay a fine. SPS says people should not click on any links or make any payments and instead ignore the message and block the sender. Police will never send messages regarding tickets or payments of any kind. You could say this next story about a valiant rescue in downtown Saskatoon fits the bill. Because of it, a mother duck was reunited with her 6 ducklings after they became trapped in a storm sewer. As Carla Shinkrick tells us, it's one of a couple recovery missions in our city.
Right place, right time, bad situation.
It was a race against time in downtown Saskatoon. Had 2 City of Saskatoon water and sewer employees not been driving by, this mother duck may have lost all 6 of her ducklings. Instead, a routine workday turned into an unexpected rescue when a small group of people were gathered around a sewer drain.
We didn't know exactly what was going on at first. We just wanted to make sure everything was okay, like nobody was in trouble or anything. And then it turned out that it was ducks in the sewers.
The ducklings had slipped into a pipe connecting 2 storm sewer drains while their mother paced anxiously above, unable to reach them. These 2 couldn't help but pitch in.
I'm a big softie for animals.
With the right equipment and the know-how to use it,
we could hear them clear as day. And then we could see them swimming in the waters.
The pair got to work.
We have the tools. It's not a non-issue. It's just getting them out because they're so little and squirmy. Just takes a little bit of finesse.
They say it almost seemed like the mother duck knew they were trying to help, and timing was crucial. Had the ducklings made it farther into the storm sewer system, they tell us the ducklings could have reached a main manhole in the middle of the street, making the rescue impossible. After a few tense minutes, the family waddled away together across the street to the cheers of bystanders.
I think they were just all exhausted, so they just kind of had a little rest there. And the last we saw, they were making their way towards the river, so that was good.
And it's the second duck rescue this month. Saskatoon police jumped in with a similar rescue in Sutherland. Some unexpected heroes answering the call of the wild in our city.
Let me see what I got. Look at it.
Carla Shinkrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Saskatchewan Marshals Service is still in the early days of its existence, but members are already active across the province. So we got an inside look at how operations are going and how to learn more about how the service hopes to make communities safer. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details on this law enforcement agency and how members are recruited.
Born and raised in Moose Jaw, Peyton Longworth is proud to join a new police agency in Saskatchewan.
Ever since I was a child, I've wanted to be a police officer. It was a dream of mine growing up, and I'm just thankful that the Saskatchewan Marshals Service gave me an opportunity.
As a recent graduate from Saskatchewan Police College, Longworth says he applied for the Marshals because of its new role in fighting crime.
I just wanted to have a bigger variety and serve the community in a different way that goes beyond just 911 calls and calls for service.
The Saskatchewan Marshals Service, a police agency separate from RCMP, First Nations, and other municipal police services, is the first of its kind in the province. Operating since spring 2025, the Marshals focus on a few specific types of crime involving tracking down prolific offenders, investigating cases from correctional facilities, and more.
We are looking at things like high risk, high impact crime, things like drug dealing, gangs, illegal weapons, it could be human trafficking. It's not limited by any one thing.
The service does not provide direct response to 911 calls, but rather works in conjunction with police services in the Regina, Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and North Battleford areas.
Working with our policing partners, working with different agencies to be able to locate people, but also just doing that on-the-ground police work and talking to folks and finding out where somebody might be.
Those selected for the Marshals receive the same training as other police, some graduating from the Saskatchewan Police College or the RCMP Training Academy. So far, about 30 members have been hired with the goal of building a 70-member force.
These relationships you made in this training here with that class and with those instructors, that's going to last you for your whole career.
Pranshul Katoch, who moved from India to Saskatchewan in 2021, is another recent hire.
Serving in a community which gave me a lot is the best thing I can do.
Growing up in a family with a background in military service, wearing a uniform has always appealed to him.
My grandparent, he served in Army, and my mom's side, father, he also served in Army. So I grew up in listening stories about law enforcement, how they serve, listening their stories. So I was always drawn about public safety.
The new law enforcement agency is also made up of experienced officers. Inspector James Rapiz served as a member for the Saskatoon Police Service for 23 years.
I retired, and subsequently a couple of years after that, after the Marshals started, I became interested in getting back into law enforcement and started my career here again.
He now oversees the new recruits and field training officers for the Marshals.
Obviously, when you're starting out a police service, there's a lot of knowledge that is required for policing, and so we tend to get those from some experienced places.
The Saskatchewan Marshal Service encourages those interested in providing public safety and protecting people in the province to apply. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, a horrific story out of Ottawa following the deaths of a father and his sons. Also, Canadian Pride on full display following last night's big win. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. A disturbing story out of Ottawa tonight. Police are investigating the deaths of 2 children and their father. Investigators say the 8 and 12-year-old boys were found dead after officers performed a wellness check at a home this morning. Their father's body was found inside a burning vehicle in a carpool lot in the community of Kemptville in eastern Ontario. Ottawa police say this is being investigated as a double murder and suicide. Police are also investigating a third scene where a fire happened at a business. In Venezuela, a 4.6 magnitude aftershock struck north of the capital Caracas today, but no damage was reported. Round-the-clock search and rescue efforts continued for a 4th day after 2 powerful quakes hit last week. A 60-year-old woman was pulled from the rubble of a building in a coastal town. She had been there for 86 hours. The back-to-back earthquakes on Wednesday killed close to 1,500 people. Venezuela has received support from 24 countries, which have sent more than 500 tons of supplies and over 2,700 rescue and support personnel. Ontario and parts of Quebec are bracing for their first major heat wave of the summer, with sweltering conditions expected to last for days and humidex values climbing into the 40s, what experts consider dangerous temperatures. With more, here is John Vinavelli-Rao.
Under an intense sun and temperatures starting to soar, in Toronto, many taking the season's first major heat wave in stride.
Kind of disgusted, but also I love warm weather and winter makes me sad, so I'll take the heat.
Environment Canada issuing orange and yellow warnings for much of Ontario for what it's calling a long-duration heat event. Temperatures climbing to 35 or more by midweek, and the humidex expected to be in the 40s. While southern Quebec is also expecting to feel the heat starting Wednesday.
This has got all the elements of it that makes it a really good old-fashioned classic July heat wave. The length, the heat, the humidity.
It's all part of a sprawling heat dome, also baking large parts of the central and eastern U.S. as Americans prepare to celebrate the country's 250th anniversary. And amid World Cup games and festivities, these fans trying to stay cool in Texas. In Toronto, the temperature is expected to be above 30 Celsius for at least 6 days in a row. And Canada Day is expected to be one of the hottest ever, with a forecast high of 35 without the humidity. In Windsor, 36, and it could break a record.
Yeah, drink a lot of water and enjoy.
Experts say the first heat wave is usually the most dangerous and are advising people to stay hydrated and out of the sun to avoid heat stroke.
I think people need to remember that extreme heat is dangerous, especially to older individuals, especially to people with pre-existing medical problems.
That danger has been felt across Europe, where the heat wave there has brought about a spike in deaths. The two weather events aren't linked, but share similarities.
So we're under the same kind of a weather pattern. It's a high pressure area that sits there and won't leave.
Meanwhile, Environment Canada models suggest in parts of the country it will be a warmer than normal summer. And Dave Phillips suggests this heat wave may just be a taste of what's to come. Jonathan Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadian soccer fans are still basking in the glow of victory after last night's FIFA World Cup match. And as Team Canada moves on to the round of 16, there's a new sense of pride that's hard to miss. Adrian Gabriel has a closer look at the new energy for soccer.
From patriotic pandemonium on the Pacific coast to a triumphant tidal wave of emotion along the shores of Lake Ontario. Inside bars in Montreal and watch parties in Edmonton, Canada's win is quickly becoming a where were you moment in Canadian sports history.
I was watching the game a bit at my house, and then I went to my aunt's house for a bit.
There's a great patio down the street from my house.
I was watching at home.
Schaffelberg's ball into the box, headed away by Ocon. It's Eustachio!
The swift and steady right foot of Stefan Eustachio catapulting Canada to victory. The team, this World Cup, has galvanized a nation.
They did it!
Overcome with emotion, Canadian women's soccer legend Christine Sinclair's tears of joy offer a glimpse of what this moment means for the sport and our country.
Okay, let's book our flight.
To the round of 16 at the World Cup.
Thousands did book a flight to LA to witness history in person. Thousands more will now head to Houston. On home soil, the win for some supersedes soccer.
We're living in a time where we're rethinking what it means to be Canadian. Having cultural touchstones like soccer matches and the program succeeding like it never has before, I think that's important to us.
You guys are Canadian heroes.
Coach Jesse Marsh's pitch side post-game speech sharing what this victory could mean.
Canadian heroes for the future children of this country who play this sport. The sport has a big future because of you guys.
If these pint-sized players on the pitch are any indication, Marsh's pep talk is on the mark.
But what do you love about soccer?
When you get a lot of good goals. Well, I usually play defense. In my old school, soccer was like the biggest thing ever. Like we fought over which fields we would play in. I could be a really good soccer player one day.
As the country falls in love with the beautiful game, the ties that bond a nation are pulled together.
A soccer awakening is afoot across Canada. As the men's national team elevates their game, a country is taking notice and taking to the pitch. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, Jeff, it's a very soggy situation out there, and it's going to be for the next few days.
It will certainly be that case, certainly for at least one more day in terms of the sogginess of it all. Things might start winding down on Wednesday, Chantel, but we're in for another round of rain because these low-pressure centers coming up in the U.S. don't have anywhere to go because of this big blocking high up in Hudson Bay area. 17 degrees in Prince Albert and the Battlefords, both locations not particularly windy, but both locations dealing with rain right now, mainly cloudy, and 20 degrees in Saskatoon. Again, not particularly windy at this hour. A quick look at Saskatoon's almanac, where our daytime high was 20 degrees, or is at 20 degrees. It's our current temperature. 24 is typical for this time of late June. 37 degrees, the record warm temperature on June 29th. The record cold temperature on June 29th. 1892 is when that was set. The sun came up just before 5 in the morning, and it's going to go down at 9:31.
Coming up, the past of Saskatoon Pride, how the city celebrated prior to its annual parade.
Set to celebrate you, Canada. We've talked about Goni, Moose Jaw, and Saskatoon on our next Your Morning, what you can expect from Regina's Canada Day celebrations.
Yes, indeed. This is what we were dealing with mid-afternoon. Chantel mentioned this earlier on in the broadcast, that big dump of rain. And we already had some waterlogged streets in some respects, but when it comes down so fast, we don't have an actual amount that fell mid-afternoon, but it was substantial enough to create some little rivers in downtown Saskatoon. So, yes, a soggy afternoon, and it looks as though as we make our way into, well, the next 24 hours at least, we are going to be dealing with similar circumstances. Right now, some dark skies, at least in terms of the clouds there, but let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. This is what we're talking about right now. So we've got this low pressure area. We've been talking about these for a while. Big high up in Hudson Bay. It's not allowing these particular storms to make their usual migration from west to east. They're just moving up and they're just cycling around until they run out of power. And that cycle, running out of power, is about dropping rain and possibly dealing with some hail and some other forms of precipitation. We've got ourselves 20 degrees right now in Saskatoon, 17 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. And as we take a look at our hot spot, well, that was Stony Rapids today at 28 degrees. The cold spot, Val-Marie, at 6. On to our roundup of current temperatures. 18 degrees in Lloydminster and Swift Current. It's 22 in Moose Jaw, 21 in Regina and Yorkton, 17 in Yorkton. Let's change that number, Jim. 20 degrees in Yorkton and 17 in Estevan. As we take a look at central parts of the province, temperatures ranging from 16 degrees in Kindersley up to 22. That is in both Watrous and Melfort. Most locations in the high teens, it looks like. And up north, well, a lot warmer. That's not surprising when we had our hot spot up at Stony Rapids, 27 degrees right now, 24 in Collins Bay. It cools off to 18 in South End, but Sandy Bay and Island Falls and LaRange in at 22 degrees. Down south, cooler temperatures down there. Not a surprise because many of these locations have been dealing with rain today, although it does warm up to 23 degrees. That's in Last Mountain Provincial, or rather Regional Park. Now, here we go with our futurecast. So the computers are certainly indicating that low pressure center just continues to move northward, slowly up through Manitoba, and it is a robust system. And on the backhand side of it, because of the counterclockwise rotation, that moisture and active weather is coming our way. So we have to get ready for another round of rain. So right now there is rainfall warnings in effect from basically the Hudson Bay area down to Esterhazy and Arbuckle, of course, into Manitoba. Manitoba dealing with multiple, well, you can see there's a tornado warning right now down towards the international border in Manitoba. But heat warnings, thunderstorm warnings, rainfall warnings, and that includes northern Manitoba's parts of rather northwestern Ontario. So it's a messy situation because of that low. And there's a series of lows, I should say. A mix of sky conditions tomorrow in northern Saskatchewan, temperatures in the mid to high 20s, high teen temperatures with rain expected throughout west central Saskatchewan. A similar pattern for southwestern Saskatchewan, getting up to 21 in Maple Creek and Leader. A similar temperature pattern, expecting rain in Yorkton, Regina, and Moose Jaw. Just a windy day in Estevan, and rain again in parts of east central Saskatchewan with temperatures hovering around that 17-degree mark. For the Battlefords, dropping down to 13 tonight, 19 tomorrow, but expecting 5 to 10 millimeters of rain, and then unsettled conditions right through to Friday, and that includes Canada Day. For Prince Albert, dropping down to 15 tonight with a risk of a thunderstorm. Tomorrow, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain expected. Right now, we don't get any break from the rain or significant break until Thursday, and we start off the weekend a little on the tough side as well. And Saskatoon dropping down to 14 degrees tonight. Showers, risk of a thunderstorm, windy condition, and it stays windy tomorrow, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain. And then as we take a look at right now, emphasis on right now, Canada Day is looking just cloudy, but the inclement weather returns on Thursday and Friday.
We've got to protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately.
Comedy legend Mel Brooks celebrated his 100th birthday yesterday. Brooks was born in Brooklyn in 1926 and had a lengthy career creating beloved films like Blazing Saddles, The Producers, History of the World Part 1, and, well, directing Young Frankenstein. He's also got another title on the way with Spaceballs sequel due next year. Brooks previously told People magazine he credits his long life to his, what else, sense of humor.
Bonnie needs help from someone at least from the same century. So long, toys.
Here's something from the No Surprise file. Toy Story 5 again tops the box office over the weekend. The movie made another $70 million US across North America and is closing in on $300 million since its debut. Supergirl opened in second place as expected, but ticket sales were well below earlier projections at $38 million. And Obsession continues to have a hold on moviegoers, scoring third place with almost $10 million. Lauryn Hill had a surprise performance at the end of the BET Awards last night. The 51-year-old performed her hit X Factor after being presented with the Living Legend Icon Award.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have?
Well, we have a triple hit, and we're going to start off with this one. We have some nice shots here, and this one comes to us from Boris. And he says, I captured this photo at Aquadeo Beach during sunset, and the cloud formation looked remarkably like a dolphin, and I thought it was a unique moment worth sharing, and I'm glad you did, because that's what I see there. That's definitely Flipper. So there you go. Thank you, Boris. That is a wild-looking cloud. Another nice night sky shot, this one from Michelle. A gorgeous sky evening of Tuesday, June 23rd. Love those colors. And finally from Jack, this is more of an art shot, but I really kind of like this one a lot. In this picture, my uncle walks toward an abandoned farmhouse that still stands and this is next to one of his fields. I love that shot. Really kind of ominous. Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Jack, and thanks to everyone who submitted photos. And if you'd like to submit a photo, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, or you can scan the QR code on your screen and get that picture to us.
Still to come on CTV News, celebrating Pride, to look at Saskatoon's past that has evolved into the future. Saskatoon's Pride Parade drew in thousands to the downtown core yesterday, with CTV taking part. It was a day to celebrate, but it wasn't always the case. CTV's Hallie Mandrick on what Pride celebrations were like before the days of the parade.
Pride in Saskatoon was not always the colorful parade that it looks like now. Bruce Garman remembers when Pride was limited to one building.
And back in those days, if you had an identity as being a homosexual, as being a lesbian, that was a medical or a criminal identity, and that was that.
The Zodiac Friendship Society, one of Saskatoon's first official organizations for LGBTQ2S+ people, was created in 1972, and the following year, it found a home called the Gemini Club. Garman says it was one of the few spaces where those in the community could feel safe.
There were many people who were thrown out of their homes. Often people came to their true nature after they were married. Marriages ended. They were kept from seeing their children. I mean, it was a grim time.
Now, more than 5 decades after the inception of one of the first public safe spaces for LGBTQ2S+ people, the annual Pride Parade has grown into an event that draws thousands of people to Saskatoon's downtown. And the community's next generation hasn't forgotten its roots.
I think it matters so much to know where we are coming from and what we are building towards, and to see that people have been able to thrive under things that have been rough, and that our community is truly a family.
The co-chair of Saskatoon Pride says the parade serves as an annual reminder that visibility can make a big difference for those who are feeling alone.
A lot of the time it is rough to be trans in Saskatchewan. But there's such a huge community of queer folks and allies that are here for us. And it's beautiful to see how much love we have in this city.
Garman adding that his first time watching the parade was an emotional experience.
I stood by the Besborough and the parade went by, and I just welled with pride looking at those young people and thinking, you know, when I was their age, there was nothing. And I'm one of the people who helped create something for them. So that, it just, you know, it makes me want to cry. It's awesome.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
When we come back, rider pride shines through for a Rosetown native, and later, the couple trying to reach a record through their nuptials.
In our community. Canada Day Saskatoon will be focused on the traffic bridge and river landing areas. Food trucks, entertainment, kids activities, and more. The celebration gets rolling at noon with fireworks at 10:30. SCI Sask is hosting its 7th annual golf tournament on August 8th at Holiday Park Golf Course. Sponsorships and team registrations are now open. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right, time to check the forecast for tomorrow for our rural neighbors, and yeah, it's going to be rainy. There we go, 19 degrees in Meadow Lake and Lloydminster, 20 in Kindersley, Outlook 18, you know, high teens, low 20s, but rainy. And I suppose on the upside, it won't be as windy as it has been, but some places are still going to be on the breezy side with wind gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour. Down south, a similar situation, maybe slightly warmer temperatures on this part of our map, ranging from 17 degrees in a number of communities up to 21 in a few places, but for the most part below seasonal and rainy. And yes, it is part and parcel of that low pressure center moving up from the States and impacting us for at least one more day. Wapella, also one of those communities that's going to be dealing with rain and about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain and wind gusts up to 60 kilometers an hour. So there is going to be some strong winds in some parts of the province, including Wapella, where internet plans are up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Well, Saskatchewan Roughriders may have lost Friday night to Toronto 40-34, but despite the results, a dream was fulfilled for 2 rookies, including one who grew up cheering for the green and white. Donovan Mace has more.
For Daniel Wiebe, wearing the green and white is everything he fantasized about as a kid in Rosetown. But finding the end zone in his first career CFL game is a dream come true.
I've been dreaming of these moments since a kid, and to be able to do it with the Riders, it means everything, being a hometown kid. So, yeah, extremely exciting.
The University of Saskatchewan product thrust into action to replace an injured Sam Emilis.
Wiebe stepping up.
While he only made 2 catches, he made them count, providing a much-needed boost to a banged-up Riders offense.
It's kind of everything I imagined and more at the same time. It still hasn't really set in. It's kind of crazy to just be thinking about.
We know what that means to that kid and what it means to us, honestly. He just works his tail off. You know, he sparked and gave us some juice.
Riders rookies making an impact all over the field. Like Conley also playing in his first CFL game, also finding the end zone for his first career touchdown.
I'm just grateful. I'm just glad I'm here and excited. There's always somebody that wished they was in my position, and I feel like I'm grateful that I'm just here playing football.
Making the moments count with the lights at their brightest.
Mims did a great job. Daniel Wiebe, stud, as we talked about in training camp. You know, Q did a great job in the backfield, had some explosive runs, and got a nice touchdown there.
I want to be helping out the team as much as I possibly can, and to be able to be putting points on the board means a lot. It takes everyone. You know, that doesn't happen without the other guys doing their job.
Donovan Mace, CTV News, Regina.
The Saskatoon Valkyries extended their winning streak and were crowned WWCFL champions once again. This touchdown run from Sarah Wright helped tie the game in the second quarter when the Valkyries continued to score. Another touchdown from the arm of Julia Smith gave Saskatoon a lead, and they never looked back. The Valkyries finished 40-7 over the Edmonton Arctic Pride for their 6th straight league championship. With another NHL draft in the books, 8 players with Saskatchewan connections were picked, including one in the first round.
The Buffalo Sabres are proud to select from the Prince Albert Raiders, Daxon Rudolph.
Daxon Rudolph was taken 4th overall by the Buffalo Sabres. Rudolph finished the year with 78 points, 3rd among defensemen. Regina Pats forward Zach Lansard going in the 3rd round, 68th overall to Carolina. Blades forward Zach Olsen was taken 73rd overall by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Humboldt's Beckett Hamilton picked at 74th overall by the Avalanche. The Detroit Red Wings selecting Raiders goalie Mikhail Orshulak. A 3rd Raider, Jonah Silverstone, picked in the 4th round by San Jose. And Saskatoon's Braden Klimke and Cooper Williams picked at 117 and 158th respectively. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just under $1.60 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.52.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $1.4692, and Nutrien was up 44 cents. Coming up, sliding their way into the record books. Then, what's behind this puppy guilt?
It's Eric Chesney here with the Saskatoon CrimeStoppers. This week on CrimeStoppers Unmasked, we're asking for the public's help in identifying those responsible for an unprovoked bear spray assault on a Saskatoon transit bus. On June 10th, 2026, the 2 male suspects boarded the bus in the downtown terminal and did not pay their fares when requested by the driver. They then made their way to the back of the bus and shared a bottle of liquor while the bus headed toward 8th Street. As the bus approaches 8th Street and Cumberland Avenue, a male rider is bear sprayed at the back of the bus by the younger male suspect, causing numerous riders at the back to be sprayed as well. The victim is then sprayed 3 more times by the younger male suspect. This resulted in numerous riders being sprayed and the entire bus having to be evacuated and taken out of service. The bear spray suspect has been identified as 21-year-old Anthony Machisenik and is currently wanted by the Saskatoon Police Service for assault with a weapon and other charges. If you know of his whereabouts, please contact Saskatoon CrimeStoppers or the Saskatoon Police directly. We are currently looking to identify the older male suspect. He is seen to be an Indigenous male in his late 40s and 50s, who's wearing a backwards ball cap with red lettering and a white symbol, a black hoodie, and blue jeans. He has a gaunt face with a slim pencil mustache. Do you know the whereabouts of Anthony Machisenik, or can positively identify the other male suspect in this incident? If so, please give us a call at 1-800-222-8477, or you can leave a tip online at SaskatoonCrimeStoppers.com. We pay cash rewards of up to $2,000 for tips that lead to an arrest. Tips are completely anonymous. We don't want your name, we just want your assistance. Saskatoon CrimeStoppers, do your part to stop crime in our community.
Well, a married couple from North Dakota is hoping to slide their way into a world record. They have renewed their vows for the 6th time this month on top of a water slide in Wisconsin. The couple is hoping to set 2 world records, the record for most vow renewals in a 30-day period and the record for most times going down a water slide in a wedding dress, which they have set 9 times.
All right. I believe that's at Wisconsin Dells.
Maybe, to each their own, I guess.
There you go, yeah.
All right, well, ever felt food envy, you know, just like watching someone beside you eat something delicious?
Mm-hmm.
This scene played out last week at a Miami Marlins bark at the park event as one pooch enjoyed a hot dog. 6-year-old Jonah looked on in desperation for his own. The video went viral and the ballpark tracked him and his owner down, and it's now hosting Jonah's Dream Day on July 12th. He'll get his own day there and get to throw out the first pitch. So I guess just puppy guilt works sometimes.
Oh, man,
right?
It does, even on other dogs.
Looks so sad. Hey, a quick happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you very much. And may I say a belated happy birthday to you.
Well, thanks.
Okay.
And we're celebrating with rain.
Yes, well, you know, we know how to party it up.
Oh, we do.
And we have rainfall warnings in effect for parts of eastern Saskatchewan, and then heat warnings for the north. And you can see on either side of us, nasty watches and warnings in effect for Alberta and Manitoba. So, yikes.
So there you are. Thanks for watching.